Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Bookmas Day 13. First of all, let me just start off by saying I'm so sorry about my voice. This is actually the first time I've been able to talk fully in like 4 days, so we're making progress and the show must go on. So today we're going to be talking about 2025 anticipated book releases. This video is so exciting. I have been compiling a list of books that I am excited for next year for the past few months, honestly. Anytime that I see anything announced or I just see other people mentioning books that they're excited for, I'm like, ooh, that sounds so good, and I add it to my list because I am just so excited for all of the new books that are coming. So I think I have somewhere around 20 something. I was gonna do 25 new releases that I'm excited for in 2025, but there was more than 25, so I am going to try and rapid fire through these. A lot of these I obviously don't really know what they're going to be about. I like to go into them blind, so for some of them, if I have a vague idea of what it's about and I don't want to know more, I will just tell you my vague idea about it and when it's coming out, and then you'll know that I'm excited for it and maybe it's something that you would be interested in. And if it's a book that I would like to know more about, I will go ahead and read the synopsis so that we can both kind of get an idea of what the book is about. So I did go ahead and separate all of the releases by date. That way the list kind of just goes from, you know, coming out the soonest versus way later in the year. And I did also stop at, I think, July. Yeah, so the farthest into the month that I did go is July, just because I felt like at that point I'll probably do a video later on in the year about new releases that I'm excited for the end of 2025, because I just feel like that's so far away, and going to July, that's like just halfway over the year, so I feel like that's a good amount of time to list some books that I'm excited for up until then. So starting off strong, and I don't know, for some reason this one I'm second guessing the publication date, but I'm just gonna go with it because that's what it says on Goodreads. The first one is Alchemized by Senlin Yu. That is set to release on January 1st. So if you don't know, Senlin Yu is like the author of a very notorious Hermione fanfic. It's like a dark romance, but it is one of the most well-known, I feel like, Draco and Hermione fanfics. I have it downloaded on my Kindle, but I have not started it, and now that I know that it's being traditionally published, I mean, I don't think the story is being traditionally published, but it's gonna be like a traditionally published version of Manacled, which is her Hermione fanfic that is just like widely loved by people. It is very, very dark and twisted, so take that into consideration if you are considering reading that. But yeah, now I'm conflicted because I don't know if I should read Manacled before reading Alchemized, or if I should just wait now that it's coming out and just read Alchemized instead. So if you have read Manacled, let me know your opinion, if you think it would be worth reading Manacled still and then reading Alchemized. I don't know what I want to do. The next one that I have is actually one that I was able to get early through Book of the Month this month. It is Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney. This one is set to release on January 14th. This was a very highly anticipated thriller for me. I had this on my list before I even knew that it was going to be a Book of the Month selection. So when I saw it on Book of the Month for December's book picks, I was so excited. If you haven't heard me talk about Alice Feeney before, I've only ever rated 2 thriller books 5 stars. One of those was an Alice Feeney book, and I think that honestly I liked it a little bit more than The Silent Patient, which is my other 5-star book, and the Alice Feeney book is Rock, Paper, Scissors. But I feel like that right now that's like my all-time favorite thriller. I haven't read that many thrillers, so you know, it's not too big of a competition, but out of the thrillers that I've read so far, I definitely think that Rock, Paper, Scissors has been my favorite. So I'm really excited to read it. I haven't read it still, which I'm so sad. I got like 75 pages into it, but I have obviously just been so busy that I haven't had much time to read so far this month. So hopefully I will get through that by the end of December, because so far it has been so good. It's essentially following a author who is having the best day of his life. He's worked for 10 years to get to the moment where he is a New York Times bestseller, and he calls his wife to let her know that he just got the news. He's so excited, and while they're on the phone, she has to slam on her brakes because someone is standing in the middle of the road, and she gets out to check on the person to see if they're okay or if they need help, and he's on the phone with her still, and she just never comes back to the car. She is missing from that point on. They never find out what happened to her, so he is like grieving, but he is really struggling with the process because he doesn't even have closure to like know what even happened to her, you know, because there was just no trail. She just disappeared into thin air. It's like a year after it's happened, or maybe a year and a half or something, and he's still struggling really, really bad. He has a publishing deal that is basically requiring him to hand in at least the synopsis for a book or some progress on the book, but he has nothing because he hasn't been able to write anything since then because he's just been so broken over the fact that his wife just disappeared. And so his publisher sends him on this like book retreat basically to try and clear his mind, get out into the middle of nature and just in the quiet and be able to write. And when he gets there into this very secluded island, he ends up seeing someone who looks exactly like his wife, and he thinks he is seeing things. So that is the premise of that book. I'm so excited to get farther into it. I so far am really enjoying it. I think I just really like Alice Feeney's writing so far. Very excited to finish that one. The next one that I have is so cute. It's The Baby Dragon Cafe by, I don't want to butcher the last name. I've never heard of this author before, but the cover caught my eye, and one thing for next year, I really want to read more cozy fantasies, I think. I obviously really like high stakes, you know, enemies to lovers and stuff like that, but based off of like movies and TV shows that I like to watch, I really think that I would like cozy fantasies as well as cozy mysteries. So that's a genre that I would like, or I guess it's like a subgenre that I would really like to get into next year. If you guys have any good cozy fantasy or cozy mystery books that you think are great and that you think I would love, let me know, because yeah, I'm definitely looking into trying out that genre a little bit more. But this one, The Baby Dragon Cafe, first of all, the cover is so cute. Essentially, all I know about this, I think, is that the woman who owns this cafe, she's wanted to have a pet dragon her whole life, but she has never been able to. I forget the reason why. So instead, because she can't have a pet dragon, I think it's because like where she lives, her landlord, like she can't have one or something. So instead, she just decides, okay, well, I will open a cafe where everyone's pet dragons are allowed to come. But then the customers come in and bring their baby dragons, and she starts to realize this may be harder than I anticipated because they are babies and they breathe fire. And so they keep setting things on fire in her shop. And that's all I know about it. And I feel like that sounds so funny and so cute. So also, I don't know if I already mentioned it, but The Baby Dragon Cafe is set to release on January 16th. The next one that I have is Onyx Storm. This is the third book in the Fourth Wing Empyrean series. It is set to come out on January 21st. I'm so excited. I feel like, honestly, since I read Iron Flame, because of the way it ended, I kind of have just like pretended like it doesn't exist, because if I were to acknowledge the ending, I think I would have been driven crazy waiting throughout this entire year for the next book. But now that it's close, I can start to kind of cope with my feelings and accept that the next book might be just chaos, you know? And I'm so excited. I'm so here for it. And also, the cover is beautiful. I did pre-order the like exclusive edition or whatever. So excited for that because it is just gorgeous. After that, I have Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. This is the same author that wrote Out on a Limb, I think, which was a very, very popular book this year. And this book is set to come out on January 28th. And I think that it follows a married couple who goes on like a backpacking retreat to try and save their marriage or something. It's like a marriage counseling type of thing or something like that. I don't know. I don't know much about it. I don't really want to know much about it, but something I've mentioned in a couple of my bookmas videos already is one thing I want to try and read in romance next year is romance that centers around couples who are a little bit older and like married or engaged or have been married, have kids already or something like that, because I just feel like it might be a little bit more relatable because obviously I am married with kids. And so I don't know, I just feel like it might be fun to read about something that I can really relate to in real life. Obviously, I'm not divorced, and I'm also in love, so can't relate to that, but you know what I'm saying. Very excited for that one. I think I will end up reading Out on a Limb before I read Out of the Woods, just because in my brain, if there's other books that come first in the series, I feel like I have to read the other ones, even if they're standalones. I just have to. And I've never really had that much interest in reading Out on a Limb, just because I know it does have the accidental pregnancy trope, and I don't love that. Whenever I realized that, it kind of did make me lose interest in the book, but I'm willing to give it a try because so many people love that book. So after that, the last release for January is Comedic Timing by, again, don't want to butcher the name. This is set to release on January 28th, and this is actually something new that I recently discovered from Eden over on TikTok. If you don't follow her, follow her. I love her so much. And she actually just started a YouTube channel, which I have been loving watching, so I'll link her channel down below so you guys can check her out. Anyway, so this is from a publishing company that is brand new. It's called 831 Stories, which 831 stands for I love you. It's like the symbols for like in the war, how many taps it would be for like the secret code or something. I don't know, but I know that 831 stands for I love you, and so I love that so much. And essentially they are a publishing company that only releases romance books, and they're all like kind of short stories by different authors, and I think that they all center around musicians, which, if you have watched my recent bookmas videos, is so funny that after I twice mention how I have never been interested in reading a romance centered around a musician, and I probably will not ever be interested in reading a romance centered around a musician, at least not anytime soon. And now here I am. Here I am. Eden has done it. She has convinced me to try a romance book centered around musicians. So, I don't know, something about this company though, I just love them. One, they really focus on creating an entire experience for their readers. So for every romance book that they release, if you go to their website, they have merch for that book. On Spotify, they have a song for the book, which correlates with it, which is so cool. They have different events centered around the book. So I think that is so cool that they're putting in that much thought and time and effort to give the readers an experience for books that they love, like romance books specifically. I just think that is so cool. And also something about the covers of these books just like scratch an itch in my brain like no other. I actually recently ordered the 2 books that they have published so far. I have Big Fan and Hardly Strangers. These look so cute together, and also on the bookshelves that will look so cute. The spines, it's so cute, and I love the little symbol that's on the books. I don't know, something about this entire experience so far has just really done it for me, and I think all of those things combined is what convinced me to give it a try. And all of the books are pretty short. I think they're all less than 200 pages, which I love a good little quick story. And so far all the reviews that I have seen for these is that even though it's a short book, it's one of those short books that can really pack a punch, and so they really are able to get across a lot of growth and emotion and story in such a short amount of pages. So I'm really excited to read those. Honestly, I would like to read those before the end of the year, at least one of them, and give them a try this month. Honestly, I think I'm going to start with Big Fan because this is the one that I originally saw Eden talking about on TikTok. I think there's 2 other 831 stories that are coming out next year that I have on this list as well, so I'll get to those in a little bit. But that is all of the releases for January. So moving on to February, the first release for February that I have, or actually, now that I look at it, all of them except for one of them are all coming out on February 11th, which is kind of crazy. First, we have Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales by Heather Fawcett. If you don't know, this is the 3rd book in the Emily Wilde's series. I don't know if that's what it's called, and I think it's supposed to be just a trilogy, but don't quote me on that. To be completely honest, I had no desire to read this series really up until like a month or 2 ago. I saw Faith talking about it. Her YouTube is Faith's Reading Things, I think, and I heard her talking about it, and she mentioned that the main character is neurodivergent, and I really would like to read more books centering around neurodivergent characters. I just feel like I feel very seen whenever I read about neurodivergent characters, and so that's definitely something I would like to read more of. If you know really good books that you think I would like that have neurodivergent characters, definitely let me know in the comments because I'm very interested in reading more of those next year. But yeah, just learning that about the book piqued my interest enough for me to like kind of search and figure out more what the book and what the series is about. I realized it's a little cozy fantasy, so I just feel like I want to give that series a try, and so that is why I included the 3rd book on this list, even though I haven't technically started that series yet. It's a series I am really excited to get to next year. The next one that we have is First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. This is the same author that wrote, I think it's called like Love Light Farms or something like like that, which has been a very popular romance series this year. But this is like the first book in a new interconnected series, and I think that there's supposed to be 3 of them, and they're each supposed to follow different popular romance movie storylines, I guess. So I think that First Time Caller is supposed to be like a retelling almost, or inspired by Sleepless in Seattle. I have never seen Sleepless in Seattle. I know it's so popular, but I've never seen it. So I think I want to read the book first and then watch Sleepless in Seattle, but I'm really, really excited about it. And then we also have on January 11th, Scythe and Sparrow. This is the 3rd book in the, I think it's Ruinous Love or something like that, trilogy. This is a serial killer romance rom-com series. And yeah, this is the 3rd book. So far, I have audiobooked book 1 and book 2 in the series, which was a wild ride. So I might as well stay on the train and listen to the audiobook for the 3rd one as well. That's probably what I'll do. But yeah, that one is coming out on February 11th, and then the last one for February 18th. Rebel Witch comes out, and I'm so excited. This is the 2nd book in the duology that goes with Heartless Hunter. I can't even tell you how excited I am for this book to come out. The way that Heartless Hunter ended was crazy, and I am so excited to see where the story goes and how it comes to an end. That is all of the releases I have for February. So moving on to March, we have Wild Side by Elsie Silver. This is the 3rd book in her new cowboy romance series. I have not started that series yet, but I again included it because it is a series that I would like to potentially get into next year. I feel like based off of the synopsises and the reviews from that series, I think I might like it a little bit more than Chestnut Springs, but who knows, honestly. After that, I have The River Has Roots by Amal El Motar. Not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I'm so sorry if I'm not. But this is by one of the authors that wrote This Is How... What is it called? This Is How You Lose a Time War. But it's just another little short story by one of the authors, because This Is How You Lose the Time War is co-written. But this one just has a beautiful cover, and it immediately piqued my interest, obviously because the cover and the author. But the synopsis for this one says, in the small town of Thistleford on the edge of Fairy dwells the mysterious Hawthorne family. There they tend and harvest enchanted willows and honor an ancient compact to sing to them in thanks for their magic. None of them more devotedly than the family's latest daughters, Esther and Isabel, who cherish each other as much as they cherish the ancient trees. But when Esther rejects a forceful suitor in favor of a lover from the land of Fairy, not only the sisters' bond, but also their lives will be at risk. Reading the synopsis just solidified the deal for me whenever I read it. I'm very excited to read that and see how I like it. The last release that I have for March is on March 18th. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins is going to come out. I'm so excited for this, and honestly, I need to hurry up and read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is another book in like the Hunger Games world. This is again going to predate the Hunger Games, so it's like a prequel, and this one I believe is going to follow Haymitch's games. I don't know if I'm assuming it's from the perspective of Haymitch, but I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to read the synopsis for it because knowing that it follows Haymitch's games is all I need to know. I feel like from the time that I read The Hunger Games as a kid, I thought to myself, I would love to read a book about Haymitch's games. So realizing that that is coming true is crazy, and I'm so excited for it. Moving on to April, I think that this is the month that has the most releases out of the whole year so far for me. The first is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. Again, I haven't read any Abby Jimenez books yet this year. I did start one, but I put a pause on it because I was feeling a little bit bored, but I think it's because I was on the verge of a book slump, so we just set her down and saved her for later. But yes, I'm very excited for that one. And then on the 8th, April 8th, we have Fearless by Lauren Roberts, and I'm so nervous and excited. I cannot wait to see what happens in this book. I hope it's like 1,000 pages long, which it probably won't be, but I could read another 5,000 pages in this world because I love it. I love the characters, and I'm so nervous to see what happens in book 3, but also I need to know. Like, I need to know what happens regardless of which way we're going. So, and then we have again on April 8th, Enchantra by Kaylee Smith. This is the second book after somewhere around here. Oh, it's all the way down here, so you probably can't see it, but this This is the second book after Phantasma. Phantasma I liked. It's not my favorite fantasy, but it was good. It was entertaining. I feel like it was a good read for spooky season specifically because it follows a phantom and it's like witchy. So I thought that that was really good and atmospheric for spooky season. So I'm really interested to see the second book. I think the second book is following the sister. I haven't read anything about the storyline because I kind of don't want to know. So very excited for that one. And then on April 15th, we have Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the 4th book in the Rebel Blue Ranch cowboy romance series. I cannot believe she's already on book 4 because I feel like book 1 just came out. I own book 2 and I haven't had a chance to read it yet. So hearing that she's on book 4 is crazy. Like, I feel like she released those so fast, but maybe it's just me because I'm not paying attention. Like, I don't know. But very excited for that. This series has some of the most beautiful covers. I love the colors. I love the character art. I love the writing. Everything about it, again, just scratches an itch in my brain. I love it so much. After that, we have Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I'm so excited for this, and I'm so excited because I was actually able to pre-order the Barnes & Noble signed special edition. So excited. I love this edition because I think the original one is like orange, but you know, Barnes & Noble, if you put out a pink book, I'm gonna buy it, okay? Sue me. But yes, this one I believe is following 2 writers who go on a retreat with this other prestigious writer, and they essentially have to write a story about the same thing separately. Whoever writes the best story will be able to like get a spot working under the writer or something like that. I don't really know, and I don't need to know. I just know that I will be buying it and I will probably love it because so far both of Emily Henry's books have been hits for me. So love her. So excited for that. And then we have another cozy romance coming out on April 29th. It is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sandhu Mandana, I think is how you say it. This one, again, the cover just caught my eye, and I'm specifically, you know, on the lookout for more cozy fantasies. And I liked that this one was like witchy. So the synopsis for this one says, Sarah Swan was once one of the most powerful witches in Britain, and then she resurrected her great aunt Jasmine from the very recently dead, lost most of her magic, befriended a semi-villainous talking fox, and was exiled from her magical guild. And now she, slightly reluctantly and a bit grumpily, helps Aunt Jasmine run an inn in Lancashire, where she deals with her quirky guests' shenanigans, tries to keep the talking fox in check, and longs for the magical future that she lost. When she learns about an old spellbook that could hold the secret to restoring her power, she finds herself turning to Luke Larson, a gorgeous, icy historian who might be the only person who can help her unlock the book's mysteries. The fact that he also happens to be her one-night stand from years ago is totally irrelevant. Running an inn, reclaiming her lost magic, and trying not to fall in love is a lot for anyone, but Sarah is about to discover that she doesn't have to do it alone, and that the weird, wonderful family she's made might be the best magic of all. That just sounds so cute and cozy and wholesome. I am so excited for that one. Moving on to May, we have another one of those 831 stories. It is Set Piece. I don't know anything about this one, and I don't want to know. That one is coming out on May 6th. And then on May 20th, we have Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt. This is an author that I'm very, very excited to read going into next year. I actually bought the one book that comes before Left of Forever in this like interconnected series that she's starting, and it's called Savor It. First of all, the covers for the series are hitting. They're so cute. Something about them is just perfect for me. But yeah, Tara DeWitt is another author that I really anticipate liking, that kind of, I'm hoping, leans a little bit more towards like the contemporary romance side of things. I obviously love, you know, silly, goofy, little cutie rom-coms, but I feel like out of all the romance books I have read so far, minus the Vancouver Storm series, that's a totally different story. Those are all like just, I will accept no criticism on them. But I feel like out of all of the romance books that I've read so far besides those, I mostly end up rating the ones that kind of lead more towards the contemporary romance side end up being higher ratings for me. So that's something that I'm trying to read more of next year. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. Again, this is another one that follows a older couple. I think that they were previously married, got a divorce, and now their kid is grown, and so they're trying to reconnect and see if they can make it work or something like that. Not 100% sure, but very, very excited for that one. Those are the only two that I have for May. Moving on to June, there's only one in June that I have written down, and it's another one of those 831 stories. It's called Justice for Cassidy. Again, Don't know what that one's about, but it will be released on June 24th, and I will be purchasing that. Hopefully, honestly. I could read these and really not like them, but hopefully that's not the case, and you know, if I do like them, then I will be purchasing that. Moving on to July, the last month that I have some anticipated reads written down for. On July 22nd, we have Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. Another Holly Jackson book, so exciting, and the synopsis for this one sounds so good. I'll read it to you guys. This one doesn't even have a cover yet, and I haven't really heard that many people talking about it, so it says expected publication the 22nd of July. I guess that could change. This one says, in 7 days, Jet Mason will be dead. Jet is the daughter of one of the wealthiest families in Woodstock, Vermont. 27 years old, she's still waiting for her life to begin. She'll do it later, she always says. She has time. Until, on the night of Halloween, Jet is violently attacked by an unseen intruder. She suffers a catastrophic brain injury. The doctor is certain that within a week, she will suffer a deadly aneurysm. Jet never thought of herself as having enemies, but now she looks at everyone in anew. Her family, her ex-best friend turned sister-in-law, her former boyfriend. She only has 7 days, and as her condition deteriorates, she only has her childhood friend Billy for help. But nevertheless, she's absolutely determined to finally finish. Jet is going to solve her own murder. That sounds so good. I'm so excited. I loved A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I did read the reappearance of Rachel Price, and that one was okay. I was a little bit let down, but it was all around very entertaining, and I did not see the plot twist coming. I think I just had a little bit too high of expectations because I liked A Good Girl's Guide to Murder so much, but it was definitely a really, really good YA mystery thriller. But I'm very excited for Not Quite Dead Yet because I think I will really, really like it, especially based on that synopsis. It's so interesting that she is trying to solve her own murder that will technically happen in the future. Like, that's kind of crazy to think about. And then the very last one that I have written down is actually another Hermione fanfic that is being, well, actually, I don't know if it was a fanfic that's now being traditionally published or if it's just another like Hermione retelling, but this one says it is a slow burn enemies to lovers romantasy duology, which we love around here. That's like my cup of tea. But the synopsis for this one says, Osric, member of the Farron Order of Assassins, is in the dire need of healing. Naturally, such as the grim comedy of fate, the only healer who can help is Ariane. I don't know how to say her name. I think it's Ariane, maybe, or Ariane. Ariane, scientist, bastion of moral good, and member of an enemy order. Ariane is desperate for funding to heal the sick. So desperate that when Osric bribes her to help him, she accepts, even if she detests him and everything he stands for. Forced collaboration ensues. The brilliant woman in STEM is coerced into working with a PhD in murders, much to Ariane's disgust. As Osric and Ariane work together to heal his illness and investigate the mysterious reoccurrence of a deadly pox, they find themselves ardently denying their attraction, which only fuels the heat between them. That sounds so good. Honestly, I feel like this is just going to be a really fun, fast-paced enemies to lovers. It seems like it's kind of like giving dark academia, which is kind of exciting. Question mark. I don't know if that's true. If it's not, let's just look the other way. But I've never read a dark academia, so if that's the case, very excited for that because I do think that possibly, like very written in italics, possibly I would like dark academia. Not sure. If you've read like Ninth House, by the way, this is such a tangent. If you have read that, do you think I would like it based off of books that I like? Let me know because that's one that I always see, but I'm very intimidated by and I don't know if it would be my vibe. I've tried to figure out, but everyone's reviews on it are so different. Anyway, total side note, that is coming out on July 25th and I am very excited to give it a try and I hope that I like it, especially because it's just a little duology. I love duologies because they're just like short and sweet. So that brings me to the end of my 2025 anticipated reads list. I am so excited for 2025. I feel like it's going to be such a good year of reading, especially because I'm growing to know my taste more and trying out new things. So I'm really excited. Let me know down below some of the books that you were looking forward to in 2025 if I did not mention them on this list, or even if I did mention them and you're also excited, let me know. I love hearing from you guys in the comments and I would love to hear other books that are on your radar if I didn't mention them so that maybe I can add them to my little list of books to look out for. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future content from me. But that's all I have for today's video, so I will see you tomorrow for the next day of Bookmas. Bye!